So in this video, we're going to go over why most Amazon KDP businesses fail, and hopefully I can steer you in the right direction to give yourself the highest chance to actually make money with your books. So waste no time and dive right in. So my name is Ken. I've made almost $130,000 with Amazon KDP. This is only in the last couple of years with 6 main books. I've also sold an additional about 8,000 audiobooks, which is an extra 40 grand. And on this channel, I just give away all my secrets and everything I've learned about Amazon KDP over the past few years. So now, why do most Amazon KDP businesses fail? So the first thing we have to look at is the average publisher and how their journey is going to look like with their first couple books. So the average publisher is most likely going to, of course, find a topic, they're going to create a book, and they're going to try to market it and try to get sales. And the end result of this cycle normally looks something like this. You have a bunch of unprofitable Amazon ads that you can't make money with. No matter how many sales you get, you're still in the negative every month. They, of course, end up shutting their Amazon ads off because they simply can't afford to keep pumping money into ads and not make anything back. Their book dies off, makes no sales, is not ranked very well, and they're going to end up watching a bunch of videos like this one here, trying to revive their book and actually salvage what they've created. But the most important thing out of all of this is actually shutting your ads off and letting your book die. And if this sounds like you, it means that you are solely relying on Amazon ads for all your sales. And you already know that Amazon KDP is a lot more saturated than it used to be. The ads are very expensive and it's very hard to get them profitable. So if you're solely relying on ads to make all your book sales, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to actually build a profitable business. And so having this scenario over here normally starts with the beginning. And as someone who does help people with Amazon KDP and someone who has done over 100 one-on-one coaching calls with people just like yourself, the biggest thing I notice is that they kind of miss the mark on these things. And so their topic is just okay. Their book is just fine. And then they're spending a bunch of money on ads trying to get something out of it. But that's the kicker with Amazon KDP nowadays, is you can't just be okay. You have to actually find a proven topic, something that clearly has demand and people are clearly buying the books that are there. Most importantly, you have to have a standalone book. We can't have the generic, boring, self-published book. If we look the same and sound the same as every other book, why would somebody choose ours over somebody else's? And most importantly, we have to get organic sales. We can't be relying on Amazon ads and outside marketing to get all our sales. We have to actually pinpoint where we want our book to go. We have to rank high in that specific keyword so that all the people who are already searching the topic and looking for books can see ours. And so after we've used data and specific metrics to find a topic that actually does have demand and we can clearly see that we can compete and sell there, and only after we've created a book that stands apart from everybody else and looks like a professional bestseller, then we can use Amazon ads to leverage our launch in line with the Amazon algorithm so that our book ranks high, gets seen by the organic traffic to make organic sales, and then we continue to use our ads over time to keep our book ranking and relevant. And what this leads to is actually having a lower ad spend and higher profit. And most importantly, even if our ads aren't profitable, which in many cases for beginners they're not because it's very hard to get them profitable, we're still in the green every month because we have all these organic sales. And so if you're wondering why the algorithm has anything to do with this, Amazon KDP in 2025 and 2026 and beyond is a performance-based algorithm, which means there are so many books on Amazon that only so many can rank and get seen. And so the books that show the most promise and the most potential are the ones that Amazon's going to favor and rank high. So when we launch our book, we have to be very strategic with how we do it so that we tell Amazon that, hey, people actually want this book. This book is desirable. It's getting tons of sales. It's getting tons of reviews. And that's going to almost jumpstart our book in the eyes of Amazon, and it's going to slowly rank us better till we get to our desirable spot. And I've shown this before, but I think this is really important to see, especially for beginners trying to make their first bit of profit on Amazon, is as you can see, this ad portfolio for this one book has spent $1,100 and at a 46% ACOS. So if I go to ChatGPT and ask for my break-even ACOS, which is what my ACOS needs to be to actually make profit, it says it's 37%. And so this campaign is unprofitable. Yet if we go to my actual book royalties for this book, for the month of March, it's at $2,900. And so it spent $1,150, it's made almost $3,000, and so our profit is almost $1,900 for this one book. Yet my ads are unprofitable. And so this is where a lot of people go wrong, is they don't publish books to actually rank high and sell well organically. They just publish books and use marketing tactics to sell them. And in Amazon KDP today, it's going to be very hard to actually make profit if you're publishing like this. We have to publish in line with the algorithm, so we rank high, and create a book that people actually want so we stand apart from everybody else. And so how you have a successful Amazon KDP business is you have a high demand topic that's proven by real data that tells you if you can actually sell, which we'll get into how to find this in a second. You have a standalone book, not a generic self-published book. You have an intentional launch. You actually understand how the algorithm works, and you launch in line with that so you can rank as high as possible. And most importantly, if you do this right, you get organic ranking in sales. And this is where the actual profit is. And I can't emphasize the intentional launch enough Because if we are not launching our book correctly, even if we have a high demand topic, a good book, and it's set up to sell, if we don't launch our book, no one's ever going to see it. Publishing books to Amazon is not like social media. We don't just post it, it gets put on the feed and everyone can see it. There are so many books on Amazon that when you do publish a book, most likely it won't get seen at all, unless we put in the effort to get reviews, to get sales, so that we can actually rank and get seen by the traffic. If we're not doing that, our book's just going to sit there and do nothing. And most importantly, if we don't understand that, we don't have a clear place we want our book to go, then we're just going to be running in circles and spending a bunch of money for no reason. And so it's very important that we see our book through to the end when we are launching it to that page 1 ranking, as high as we can get it on there. And most importantly, we don't give up too soon. I see a lot of people publish a book, maybe they do understand the launch process, but they might get 20 or 30 reviews, they don't see much success, and they kind of just give up and it falls off. And Amazon KDP today is competitive, so we have to make sure that we're seeing our book through to the end. We're getting it to 100 plus reviews, because just because our book isn't profitable in the first couple of months doesn't mean it's never going to be profitable. And adding to this, we need to make sure that even if we do rank on page 1, that's actually going to turn into sales, because if you don't have a very good keyword, it's too competitive, there's not enough demand. Even if we do rank there, organic sales aren't going to come from that. And so it's important to have the foundation first. And that's why I say we have to always nail everything. Only nailing each individual step will turn into organic, profitable sales, because they all work together. And the important thing here is we can't just have this an okay topic, an okay book, an okay launch. It might have worked 10 years ago, but it's too saturated for that today. So we have to make sure our topic is good through data. We have to make sure our book is the best there, which we're going to dive into what that means in a second. We have to make sure we launch it the best we possibly can and make sure it's set up for organic sales for the long term. And so even if we nail a couple of these things, if we miss the mark on others, it's going to jeopardize our entire book and most likely will turn into no sales. So the blueprint for a successful KDP business is having the right topic, the right book, and the right launch. And so when it comes to the right topic, we need to prove and validate that we can actually sell underneath that topic. So we want to look for books that are selling with low reviews. We want at least 3 or 4 of these, because this way we can physically see, if another book is selling that only has 70 reviews, and there's 3, 4, 5 examples of this, then there's no reason why our book won't sell. Most importantly, we have to have low competition. We can't just have a topic that is filled with books that have over 1, 2, 3,000 reviews, because we're never going to be able to compete with those books. And of course, we want to actually prove that if we rank high, we will sell. Like I said, we want to find books that are also on par with what ours will be, lower reviews, self-published, and prove that those books are selling. Because if all the books there are not selling, they have a high bestseller rank, they're making no money every day, our book isn't going to magically sell. We have to prove that we can sell if we rank high, we have to prove that we can actually compete with what's there. And so when it comes to the right book, we have to most importantly have an enticing offer, because if your book just looks the same as everybody else's, why would they pick yours? We have to make sure we stand out, have a cover that is brighter, louder than everybody else. Most importantly, it's easy to read. This is something that's so simple, yet so many people overlook. You simply can't read their cover at a glance. We all know that in this generation, attention spans have never been worse. And so we can't assume that somebody is sitting there intentionally reading every single book cover and evaluating which one will be perfect for their needs. They're just flipping through, most likely on their phone. And whatever one catches their attention the fastest and tells them what they want to hear immediately is the one they're going to click on. And if they click on it, it has enough reviews, they're probably just going to impulsively buy it. Of course, we want to reverse engineer what's already working. If we try to reinvent the wheel too much, we're going to be too off of the core concept of the topic, and people aren't going to buy our book because they don't know for sure if it's what they need or if it's what they're looking for. And that leads us into the last thing, which is the most important thing, is we actually have to be what the customer is looking for. Because how people shop on Amazon, it's not like Facebook or YouTube ads where they get enticed and they go and buy something. They're going to Amazon for a specific purpose. They're going to the search bar, they're typing in organic vegetable gardening for beginners, and they're buying the thing they're looking for so they can solve their problem. And we have to actually be in line with that core idea if we want anyone to buy our book. So here's a perfect example of this, the ChatGPT Millionaire. Now, in my opinion, this is a horrible cover. It's very ugly. Even the title's not very strong in terms of the subtitle. But the reason that this book sells so well is, of course, it's had some time to build up its reviews, but this book has sold well for a while. And that's because it clearly stands out emotionally from all the other books. And so if this book is sitting beside everyone else's, ChatGPT Simplified, ChatGPT for Beginners, ChatGPT Made Easy, and then they have this one book in the middle that says the ChatGPT Millionaire, people are going to be so drawn to this emotionally that they ignore all the other books. And so we have to be the most enticing offer, not only being easily understood, they know what the book is about, but making your offer so clear and so desirable that they don't even look at the other books. They just impulsively click on yours. And so we have to be what the customer is already looking for, most importantly. But on top of that, we have to be the most enticing offer. So we have to spark an immediate emotion. And so we stand out visually with our cover. It draws their eye. And then when their eye does get drawn to our book, we stand out with our offer. So they click it without thinking. They see our book first because it stands out so heavily in its design. Of course, it needs to be designed professionally. And they click it impulsively because the offer is so irresistible. They have to at least inquire and see what it's about. And so we want to be the best looking and most enticing version of what they are already looking for. If we're just another generic self-published book with a okay cover and okay title, no one's going to care. So that leads us into the right launch. So most important thing when it comes to your launch is if they can't see it, they can't buy it. And so with our book launch, we want to, of course, have a goal. We want to know exactly where we want our book to go. We have our specific search term or our keyword. We see the organic rankings for that. And our goal is to launch our book to get to that ranking. If we're just throwing ads at our book with no understanding or vision, nothing's going to come from it. We, of course, have to launch in line with the algorithm. Amazon KDP is a performance-based algorithm. If our book shows promise and potential, it gets good reviews, it drives sales to it, it will work its way through the pages, inevitably to page 1. And the longer we sell, the longer we are proving to Amazon people want our book, and the longer it's going to keep us ranked high. And the most important thing with our launch is seeing it through to the end. Most people stop too early. They get 30, 40 reviews, maybe even less, and they kind of just give up and stop their ads. I know ads do get expensive and it's hard to keep going, but we need to push our book to 100 reviews plus, even if it is a slog, because most likely there was potential to make money, but we didn't see our book through to the end, position it as an authority, and get enough reviews to have that social proof and stand up from the competitors. So when it comes to my launch process, the first thing I want to do is, of course, make my book desirable so it sells easily. This is done through discounting it. If you are publishing a high content book, this most likely will be $9.99 or anywhere from a 30 to 50% discount depending on what book you're creating. We also want to run a free promo. This can be done through the marketing tab of your Amazon KDP dashboard. From there, we want to get the reviews on our book because if it is on a free promo, it's going to be very inexpensive to get reviews. So ideally, you use sites like Book Bounty a few months beforehand. So you build up your currency on that site. Once your book is live, you do your free promo and you get as many reviews as you can in that first 7-day period. Of course, we do want to get A+ content on our book as well to just make sure it is desirable of a product page. Then after my book is desirable and it's ready to sell, I then use Amazon ads to drive traffic to it. I do not use Amazon ads just to make all my sales and hope that they're profitable. I use them specifically to drive sales to my book, to get it ranking high, and then I use them to maintain my book's organic ranking over time. So when it comes to our ads, our goal is to go broad with our product campaigns and our keyword campaigns so that the first 30 days we can drive as much sales as we can. And then after the 30 days, and hopefully our book is ranking, we can then narrow it down to the best performing keywords and products from those broad campaigns. And of course, our end goal is to get our book to page 1. So if you need to keep your book discounted for a bit longer to get to that ranking, that's okay. I'm not going to go into my ad strategy in depth in this video. I do have other videos on that, as well as I am coming out with a detailed Amazon ad strategy guide within the next few weeks. So definitely subscribe or go and look for that depending on when you're watching this video. And then the last thing I do is I make sure my book sells for a long period of time. In order to have longevity with your books, you have to continually get sales. So if you are ranking high and getting those organic sales, it most likely will help with this. However, one other thing I do is something called the 90-day relaunch. Basically, every 90 days, I go back, make my book desirable once again by discounting it and maybe getting a bit more reviews. And then I reintroduce some more broad Amazon ads to drive sales to my book. And what this does is to just boost my book up in the rankings once again so that I don't lose my ranking over time. This is a great way to essentially jumpstart your book every 90 days, and it really does help with keeping your book ranked high. So I hope this video did shed some light on why your Amazon KDP business might be failing and how you can turn it around. If you do want to learn my exact process, I will link a video below. It's going to walk you through exactly what I do to publish books that people actually want to buy, as well as how I can rank and get organic sales. It's also going to go over how you can get some guidance and help with your Amazon KDP business. So that's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe for no nonsense Amazon KDP advice, and we'll see you in the next one.